Turbo Granny reveals that Okarun's missing organs are contained within golden spheres. Aira, who has found one, now has the ability to see spirits. Welcome to episode 6 of Dandadan, A Dangerous Woman Arrives. Last episode was more of a slice of life rom-com with a little bit of supernatural thrown in at the end. This one is mostly supernatural stuff, and we get to see more of Aira's character. So let's jump right into the breakdown. So we start off with Momo and Okarun looking for Okarun's testicles. They can't find it. Turbo Granny is there as well. And she basically explains like, hey, if you haven't found it already, then someone probably took it. It could have been either a spirit or a yokai. And Momo is like, why the hell would anyone want to take Okarun's testicles? And Turbo Granny reveals that she put some of her spiritual power within the testicles. So now there is a golden layer of powerful spiritual energy in Okarun's balls. And yokais and ghosts want that power because they believe that if they get enough life energy, they collect enough items with life energy in it, they can live again. So if you haven't found it, that's probably why someone took it. So we have like just like a funny moment of Momo and Okarun stomping the crap out of Turbo Granny. And then that's when we see the two go back to Momo's house. And this is the only time we get to see Seiko in this episode. And basically she asks him, okay, how'd it go? It went bad. And Seiko's like, all right, well, I'll try to call in my connections and see if there's anyone who's heard anything about, your testicles. Meanwhile, Okarun, even though you have Granny's powers now and you've been able to control it somewhat, you're not fully able in control of it, so be careful about, unleashing the powers. And so we cut to school the next day where Okarun gets approached by one of the kids who was bullying him and basically says like, hey, are you dating Momo? He's like, no, he's just a friend. And the bully basically says, well, in that case, can you hook me up with her? I think she's very cute. And that's like the first time when Okarun has ever thought of Momo in that way. Before, he's just always been happy that, hey, I finally made a friend. I finally have someone who wants to talk to me. But now he's starting to like see that, you know what? Yeah, actually, she is kind of cute. And now this is like the seedlings for these thoughts of maybe Momo being a romantic interest. And of course, he's trying to snap himself out of it because he doesn't want to ruin this brand new friendship by thinking of her in that way. And then the bullies make it worse by asking Okarun if he's had sex with her because apparently there's a rumor going around that Momo is very easy. And of course, this pisses off Okarun because Okarun knows it's fake. And so he unleashes the Turbo Granny powers and he basically starts confronting the bully and he tells the bully like, apologize and don't ever disrespect Momo in that way ever again. And the bully's trying to fight back, but he's getting easily overpowered. And here's the funny thing is that we, the audience, can see Okarun transforming into Turbo Granny, but the bullies can't because only people that have like a little bit of spiritual powers can see the spirit, can see aliens and yokai and ghosts and stuff. So to everyone else in the class right now, Okarun just looks like his regular dorky, nerdy self. So they're just seeing this nerdy kid with glasses overpowering this jock. And they have no idea why or how it's possible. Yeah, eventually Okarun realizes what he's doing and he depowers and he just goes to sit at his desk and tries to drown out his thoughts with some UFO reading. And that's when Turbo Granny announces herself. Turns out that she was in his backpack the entire time. And so Okarun grabs his backpack, rolls out of the class, and then runs away so he can talk to Turbo Granny in private, basically asking, what the hell are you doing here? And Turbo Granny just reveals that Seiko basically said that since I'm stuck in this cat form, there's nothing I can really do in terms of like damage or anything. So I can just roam around freely. And she says, those powers, I saw you using them. They're a bit hard to control, huh? They're a little bit scary. Why don't you give it back to me? All you got to do is just let me have my powers back. It's very simple. I can easily do it. And of course, Okarun sees through this and he's like, no, like I'm not letting you have my, the powers back until you give me my balls back. So once the balls come back, you can have your powers. But until then, no. That's when Momo arrives. And we just have like a funny moment where Momo was trying to ask Okarun like, what's going on? What are you doing out here? But Okarun refuses to look at her. And Momo takes this as like disrespect. So she keeps trying to get him to look at her. And he refuses. And eventually he starts running away. And she chases after him. And I just freaking love these adorable goofs. And that's when we cut to Momo. And Momo's in class later on with her friends. And she's a little bit upset. And she's trying to figure out like what the hell is going on with Okarun. And her friends are like, did you get into a fight with your boyfriend? And she's like, no, he's not my boyfriend, yada yada. And that's when she says, I heard that he basically stood up to some bullies saying some nasty things about you. Apparently, there's a rumor going around that's very inappropriate about you, and some bullies were saying some nasty things, and he fought them. Momo's like, really? That seems kind of out of character for him. And this is when the ceilings for Momo possibly seeing Okarun in a different light start basically getting developed, I would say. This episode's like really where, I mean, I guess you could say the last episode with the kiss, but this is like the episode that really kind of switches things around. They're still friends, but there's like an inkling, a little seedling of a possibility that, you know what, maybe they can be more. And that's when we cut to Aira, and we get to see a little bit more of her character. And Aira is basically like a popular girl. She believes she's the prettiest girl in the class. She smiles at everybody, and she basically believes that because she smiles at, like, she's like, look at me smiling at all these like geeks and nerds and blockheads and stuff. Because a pretty girl smiled at them, they can live for another day. So basically, she believes that people are having an easier life because of her, because they get to be in her presence. Like, she is that narcissistic. And she also has a bit of a Chuuni personality to her. She believes that she's the chosen one from God to fight demons and protect the world. And you might be thinking, why the hell does she think that? It's because it turns out she has one of Okarun's golden balls. And because of that, she's able to see to the spirit realm. And we get like a flashback where we see her walking down the street at night, and one of Okarun's balls falls off of the train tracks and it hits her on the head. And she's wondering what the hell it is. She picks it up, and as soon as she picks it up, she sees the fire on the train, which is when the train went through the barrier and started burning up the Turbo Granny giant crab. So she's able to see those flames, and she just looks at the golden ball, and she's like a holy item. What is this? Like, why am I able to see all these weird things? And then she notices like the girls kind of disappearing, like the girls that were freed from the crab. We just have this like really gorgeous shot of her just holding the ball. She's staring at like just the background. Like, I'll put the image up. It just looks so freaking amazing, especially when it's animated. But yeah, she basically believes that she can perceive demons because of this holy ball, which is true. I mean, she can see it because of the ball, but it's not a holy ball. It's just one of Okarun's testicles empowered with Turbo Granny's abilities. And she believes that Momo is a demon. And the reason for that is that we get a flashback when Momo dropped the water basin on her head as she was walking away with Okarun. Because Aira has one of Okarun's balls, she was able to perceive Momo's psychic hands. But the hand didn't really look like a hand. It looked almost like a demonic wing to her. So she believes that Momo's a demon, and she believes that she has to exorcise Momo. So we have a moment where her friends show up, and Ira's like, did you get the items? Her friends are like, yeah, but why are we doing this? And basically the items are what looks like a towel, a book on banishing demons, and a cross. We even have like a moment where Ira is like looking at the cross. She's like, this thing smells very oily. Like, what is it? Are you sure this is an actual cross? They're like, how should I know? Like, this is like the closest thing that we can get to what you asked for. Why are we doing this anyways? We're your friends. So if you say something, like, we'll help you out. But you've been acting very, very weird lately. And she basically explains that, you know, I've been chosen by God to protect the school and protect the world because of my beautiful, pretty self. Like, I'm so pretty that God chose me. And we have a moment where she looks outside and she's like, you see that? There's a woman in a red dress following us. I think it's Momo's familiar. And the girls look out and they don't see anything. And then we just have like this funny moment where some like guys show up and they're asking Aira like what she's doing. And Aira just kind of plays ditzy. And then she does like this weird movement where she's basically like signaling to her friends like, you know, we'll take care of it after school. But her friends are able to figure it out. And it turns out that Turbo Granny's watching this whole interaction. And so we cut to the rooftops where Okarun and Momo are eating lunch. And Momo's like, you know, why won't you look at me? Okarun comes up with the excuse, well, I'm keeping an eye on Turbo Granny. I'm making sure she's not doing anything. And that's when Momo's like, why is Turbo Granny here anyways? And Turbo Granny's like, what? I don't have to take orders from you. And Momo's like, you do because you lost against me. And Turbo Granny wants to like start a fight with Momo. Momo's like, come on, bring it. And I love these two dorks where they're constantly trying to fight with each other. But eventually, Turbo Granny kind of explains what's going on. That Turbo Granny saw a strange woman. Turbo Granny's like, you know, I wasn't just simply walking around the school. I was looking for the golden ball. If we couldn't find it earlier, it could be because a yokai or ghost took it. But it also could be that maybe a student had possibly taken it. Maybe it was picked up by a human. And she explains that the ball looks like a shiny ball made of gold. I wouldn't be surprised if someone picked it up. But if a human were to pick it up, they might awaken their spiritual powers. And depending on the person, they might be able to see the spirits. However, if they can see spirits, that means that spirits can see them, which means that they'll be in danger and they might be attacked. So this just reminds me very much of my Roku-chan, where Miko is able to see spirits. She's in danger once the spirits know that she can see them. So that's kind of like what this is. And so Momo's like, okay, so who was this strange woman? She's like, I don't know. Like, I don't know anybody in this school, but I can show you who it is after school is done. I'll take you to her. And that's when we cut to Aira. And Aira's just basically thinking, okay, like, I have to find a way to stop Momo. Momo's a demon. I have to find a way to defeat her. Turns out that she's also the one that sent the rumors, that started the rumors about Momo sleeping around. She's basically trying to destroy Momo before she exorcises her. She's trying to like basically get everyone to not like her or whatever, like, stay away from her, or basically just like not want to be associated with her so that she can take her out easily. And so after school, Momo and Okarun are gonna try to find the strange woman when Aira shows up. And Aira just basically declares like, hey, Momo, I need to see you. There's something I gotta talk to you in private. And she's very persistent. Momo's like, fine, like if I don't deal with this now, then this is just gonna be a problem. Okarun, go try to find the strange woman with Turbo Granny. Meanwhile, I'm gonna go talk to Aira. And as the two leave, that's when Turbo Granny tells Okarun, like, that's the woman. Aira takes Momo to an abandoned warehouse, which is just weird. Like, why would Momo go along with this? Like, if someone came up to me, someone who had just bad-mouthed my friend the day before, and I was like, hey, I need to talk to you in private, and they started leading me to an abandoned warehouse in the middle of nowhere, I'd be like, maybe I shouldn't go in there. Maybe that's not a good idea. Like, if you gotta talk to me in private, there are areas in the school we can talk, without people overhearing. But, no. Aira leads Momo to the warehouse, and Momo goes along with it. And she's like, all right, what did you want to talk to me about, and why did you bring me here? And that's when Aira's friends pop out, and they tackle Momo to the ground and zip tie her hands behind her back. And then Aira unleashes her inner Chuuni, and the towel from earlier, she basically uses it to create a cape for herself. And then she uses the cross and the book to try to exorcise Momo. So she gets on top of Momo, puts the cross to her face, and basically starts trying to rehearse things from the book. And Momo's just like, what the hell is this? Why does that cross smell so oily? Like, what's going on? Momo eventually uses her psychic hands to knock Aira's friends off of her. Just like chucks them into the wall, and I'm surprised they're not dead. They're unconscious, but like, these girls should be dead. If not dead, have a bunch of broken bones. But everyone in this series is very durable. And Aira's like, you released your demon wings. I knew you were a demon. And Momo's trying to explain, like, I'm not a demon, I'm a human. Like, what's going on? What's wrong with you? And Aira's like, the book isn't working. What about this ball? Ball is a holy ball sent from God. They should be able to defeat you. And so she takes out Okarun's ball and rubs it on Momo's face. And Momo's like, what the hell is that? It's Okarun's ball. Why do you have that? And one thing I'm just wondering is this considered teabagging? Because Aira is rubbing Okarun's ball in Momo's face. So would that be considered teabagging? I don't know. You let me know. But yeah, and Aira's like, you know what this is? This is a sacred ball that was given to me to save the world. And Momo's like, no, it's not. That's just Okarun's family jewels. Give it back. And Aira's like, you're the worst. How dare you say that to the sacred ball? That's how vulgar. And she tries to like exorcise her. And that's when Okarun shows up. And Momo's like, Okarun, you're a lifesaver. She has your ball. She's a strange woman. And Okarun reveals, no, she's not the strange woman. The strange woman is actually after her. And then that's when we have Woman in Red show up, and the empty space gets created. And it's a pink empty space. It's like a reddish pink, which I think is very cool because it's basically a mix of Aira's hair color and the woman's red dress. The reason why it's a mix of the two is because this woman has a very strong connection to Aira. The woman basically reveals, I finally have you now, Aira. I've been waiting so long for you to be able to see me. It's been such a long time. And we have like a very brief flashback through the woman's point of view where she sees a toddler Aira being carried away. The toddler Aira waves at her and says, Mommy. Basically, the spirit, this yokai, her name is Acrobatic Silky, and she wants to hear Aira call her Mommy again. Before anything can happen though, Okarun transforms into his Turbo Granny phase and he tries to attack Acrobatic Silky, but she uses like ballerina moves to dodge out of the way. And eventually she grabs Okarun and starts eating him, starts swallowing him up. And Momo tries to use her powers to pull him out, but she can't because hands are still tied behind her back, so she's not able to use her full powers. Like, she's not able to fully control them the way she wants. And so Okarun gets swallowed up, and Momo gets chucked aside. And basically, Turbo Granny shows up with the cell phone, and it turns out that the cell phone belongs to Momo's friend that Turbo Granny has stolen so that she can do internet searches on. And she basically explains that, you know, the silky hair, the red dress, the ballerina moves, this is acrobatic Silky, a low-level yokai. And the only reason why she knows is because she had to search it up because she's such a powerful yokai, Turbo Granny is, that she doesn't pay attention to all the rookies. And Momo's like, you know, can you free me? Can you unzip the zip tie? And Turbo Granny's like, nah, there's nothing I can do for you. And so she like leaves Momo to her fate. Meanwhile, acrobatic Silky is trying to get Aira to call her mommy again. We have another like flashback where we see a taller version of Aira walking up to this woman, and this kind of doesn't look healthy. Like, she looks kind of messed up. It looks like she's been through some things. But Aira walks up to her anyways and pulls on her dress and says mommy. And that's the end of the flashback. And so acrobatic Silky has just waited such a long time to hear those words again. He's been waiting such a long time for Aira to be able to see her so that she can finally communicate with Aira. And she basically says, you know, Aira, like, I want you to just call me that again. Call me mommy. Aira refuses. Aira was like, you know, you're a demon. I'm going to have to exorcise you. And then she notices that Momo wants to help. And she's like, Momo, is this demon your enemy? If that's the case, then let us put aside our differences for now and let's team up together and stop this monster. And of course, this hurts acrobatic Silky's feelings. The fact that this young girl, who she sees as like a daughter, instead of calling her mommy, is calling her a monster, calling her a demon, saying that she wants to destroy her. So she swallows up Aira. And now Momo's the only one left. And acrobatic Silky gets pissed off. She like lanes her hair. It turns out that she can make her hair grow long and like actually use it to manipulate things. So she basically wraps her hair around Momo's neck and starts strangling her. And basically says that this is all your fault. Your degeneracy has infected Aira. She would never say these mean things to me. It's got to be because of you. I want you to apologize right now. And instead, Momo just calls her a piece of crap. So acrobatic Silky just starts swinging her and smashing into a bunch of things before smashing her to the ground. And once again, I got to remind everyone that the characters in this series are very, very durable, because this should have either killed her outright or at least broken like every bone in her body. But no, Momo's still okay, other than the fact that she's being strangled to death. And she's like basically suffocating. And acrobatic Silky says, you know, at first I gave this privilege to Aira, but since that failed, I'll give you another chance. I want you to call me mommy. If you call me mommy, then I might forgive you and let you go. And Momo, with like her last breath, once again calls her a piece of crap. And so acrobatic Silky swallows her up. Now all three characters have gone swallowed up. And that's when Turbo Granny reveals herself again. And she says, I'm willing to forgive you, but return the brats you swallowed. And acrobatic Silky's like, what? Can you not speak to me right now? And Turbo Granny's like, why don't you speak politely, punk? I'm your elder by far. I'm a beckoning cat. A beckoning cat supposedly has the ability to beckon over some good fortune. And even though I don't have my powers, I'm within the body of a beckoning cat. You just ate some hair when you ate Momo. And all of a sudden, acrobatic Silky lights up on fire. And acrobatic Silky is like freaking out. She's like, why is my hair on fire? It feels like I'm burning up inside as well. What'd you do to me? And Turbo Granny reveals that the cross that the girl was holding was actually a lighter. That's why it smelled so oily. It's because it's not actually a cross. It's actually a lighter. And Momo lit your hair when you swallowed her. You took that lighter, she lit your hair on fire. And there's nothing combustible inside of your body, but there is now because you ate your hair. That's like a huge long shot, but because I'm a beckoning cat and I can grant fortune to people, I granted some fortune to Momo. I granted her the fortune of her being able to not only get her hands on the lighter within your belly, but also get you to swallow some of your hair. So this was basically a plan all along, was to allow Momo to get swallowed so that acrobatic Silky will swallow some of her hair in the process, and then Momo can light up the hair inside of acrobatic Silky, burning her from the inside out and forcing acrobatic Silky to vomit everybody out, which acrobatic Silky does. She ends up basically ripping the hair that's inside of her out and vomiting up Momo, Okarun, and Aira. And we just have like a cool moment where Turbo Granny like poses on the cross, and Okarun's basically saying like, that was so reckless of you, Momo. And Momo's like, you were the first one to get eaten, so don't preach. At least the rescue was successful. So I thought this was awesome that this was the plan all along. Once Momo saw that Okarun and Aira got eaten, and that Aira got eaten while holding onto the lighter, that's when her and Turbo Granny came up with the idea of, I'll let Acrobatic Silky eat me, swallow me whole. You have to grant me some fortune in that when she swallows me whole, she'll swallow some of her hair with her so that I can light it up while inside of her, burn her from the inside out, forcing her to vomit us out. So Momo just once again comes up with a very crazy off the wall plan, but it worked. And that's one of the reasons why I just love her so much. It's like she's not just the headstrong Gyaru, but she's also very intelligent when it comes to battles. But Turbo Granny's like, time for a counterattack. And we get this really cool shot, and that's the end of the episode. I freaking loved it. This is like a reoccurring thing where I'm loving every episode, but every episode has been just so freaking awesome. I love the characters. I love the animation. I love the color choices. The fact that because the woman in red, Acrobatic Silky, has a connection with Aira, and the woman in red obviously wears a red dress, Aira with the pink hair. So when we enter the empty space this time, the color is like a reddish pink. The first time we entered the empty space, it was like black and white. Second time, it was red. And this time, it's like a reddish, pinkish hue. I just like how like all the colors like have like a meaning behind them. And then just some of the visuals, like the scene where Aira is looking at the spirits of the young girls going away while holding onto the ball. I just also like the fact that Aira isn't just your typical narcissistic bully, but she also has like this really Chuuni personality that kind of goes along with it. She found one of Okarun's testicles, but she thinks it's a holy item sent from God, and she has to banish demons and save the world. And that she was chosen because of how pretty she is. Yeah. And then, of course, Turbo Granny. Turbo Granny is freaking amazing. I love her so much. She's one of my favorite characters in this series, and we got to see some of that. And I just love like the banter she has. The fact that her and Momo are constantly trying to start fights with each other. So everything about this is really great. I like this episode a lot. The series in general is just freaking fantastic. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. So there you go. There is Dandadan episode 6. A dangerous woman arrives. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope to see you next time. Take care. Later. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't, I still want to thank you for watching it this far, and I hope the next one is more to your liking. With that said, thank you once again, and I hope you guys and gals have a good one. Later.